think I'm going to send you a bouquet of posies anonymously to your house.
I'll still take him in a trade, but I'll mock him every day at practice.
Welcome to Atlas Balked, a weekly chronicle concerning the mundane, weird, and maybe even sometimes dramatic happenings of a simple fantasy baseball league. This podcast captures the thoughts and musings of Greg, Joe, Jack, and Tim, 4 of the 10 owners in the league. This is episode 15 entitled, So You're Telling Me There's a Chance? Yeah! Okay, Balkers, welcome to episode 15. Joe, it's great to see you.
You too, man.
Thank you. Jack, wonderful to see you too.
What's happening, fellas?
And we will not have Greg tonight. Greg is fighting a nasty cold, and he, quite frankly, sounds so bad we told him to hang up and not be a part of this. So, Greg, hope you get better sometime soon. Sounds like you had a great time down at the... What was it, the YouTube festival or something like that? What was he at? The YouTube thing?
VidCon, I think.
Oh, VidCon. Okay. So let's jump right into the scores, and we'll start with the Omission Commission visiting Bad Street. The Omission Commission just crushed Bad Street. They scored 50.35 points to Bad Street's 39.6. And Justin Turner, in at DH for the Omission Commission, scored 7.8 points. He went 10 for 22. He batted, 454, had 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in, 9 runs, and 6 walks. Real Muto bounced back from a tough week last week to put up a good 4.2. And the Cardinals, which are they're still in play right now, but probably going to end up right in the same area at 7.35, and it's certainly not going to change the outcome of the game. Bad Street had Justin Upton. Justin Upton scored 5.6 points for him. He went 8 for 25, so he batted 320. He had 3 doubles, a home run, 5 ribbies, 5 runs, 4 walks, and was actually caught in his only attempt to steal. His catcher, Alex Avila, put up a meager 2 points, and the Cubs scored 10.6, actually outscored the Astros. They put up 10.6 points. So clearly, Bad Street is out. Now, Omission Commission, we're going to get to the playoff scenarios later, but certainly good win for the Omission Commission, and an important one for the Omission Commission. What do you think?
Yeah, it was an expected win. Again, we've kind of gotten to the point of the season where, Bad Street, Low Cash, and the Punks, and I almost throw Greg's squad in there. You're going to expect to win again. So. The league has separated a little bit. There's still too many teams on the top, so that's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But at this point, they have been, consistently good. They've gotten good numbers out of guys that I consider pretty good. Judge is a stud now, and to be able to just plug somebody like that into your lineup all of a sudden turns a contender into a champion. At times, the one big thing, they got Turner batting friggin' 400. The Cardinals, with this team, I probably would have traded for 4 staffs by now if I hadn't found what I was looking for. Again, who knows? They turn it on at the right time. Again, you only need a couple good weeks out of your staff as long as you can win otherwise. So
yeah, it was an important win for them to keep pace in their division, given that the team that that they're tied with lost, it helps them keep pace, keeps them ahead in the wild card, and they've got a chance to pick up a game this coming week. So that if they can win next week, they'll only be one game out of the division lead.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying, are they playing you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's a big game.
And they're favored. So
yeah, I don't know about the favored, not favored, the way the site breaks it down. It's certainly been wrong every fucking week from my team. That's a big game, Joe. I didn't even realize that. Scott's pretty confident. We had a barbecue last night, and he's feeling good. He's feeling really good about his team. He's not looking to make a lot of changes, but he's happy. He's happy with Turner. He likes Judge. He's a big fan of Judge. He's pumped with Real Muto. I did not mention pitching staff once to Scotty.
And steady points at catcher, a huge deal. Real Muto's been as steady as they come this year. So that guy, that's a big deal. Again, down the stretch, it could come into play.
So let's move over to St. Locash Stinkfist against Mr. Blonde's Heroes. So St. Locash visiting Mr. Blonde's Stadium, and St. Locash takes a win, 47.7. Mr. Blonde's Heroes puts up 42.6. So this, was a pretty strong win for St. Locash. Jose Ramirez, once again, St. Locash top player at second base, put up a 6.4. He went 11 for 28, so he batted .392. Had 3 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, a ribby, 6 runs, a stolen base, and 2 walks. Yasmani Grandal put up a strong 5.4 at the catcher position, and the Angels put up a pedestrian 7.7, but doesn't really matter. He gets another win, and I wonder if he even is looking at the score, quite frankly. On the other side, Mr. Blonde's Heroes, George Springer and Logan Morrison both put up 5.4s. George Springer went 7 for 27. Logan Morrison went 7 for 22. So Logan Morrison batted .318. He had a double, a triple, a home run, 7 ribbies, 3 runs, and 4 walks. And then George Springer, who batted .259, had 3 home runs, 3 ribbies, 5 runs, 3 walks. And Matt Wieters finally showing some weakness at 1.6. That hurt him. And then the Yankees also one of the weakest scores this scoring period at 6.6. So, yeah, Mr. Blonde's Heroes just fading quickly. St. Locash, when we get to the standings, he's still in play.
I think it's a long shot at this point, but you're right. There's still some importance to how he plays.
It's funny, Greg. Greg on his bench had who has become a fantasy whore already in the Juiceless League. As he continues to blossom, Keon Broxton, I think, has been on now 4 of our teams, maybe more, in this his first year in the Juiceless League, and had a 7.4 on Greg's bench this week. So, he had a few decent scores. Bradley with a 5.2, Russell had a 4.4 in limited time. So, he actually, had a win on his bench. Chris, on the other hand, Ramirez, there's it's nice to be on record with the podcast, because I believe in one of the first few episodes I said he was the most underrated guy in fantasy baseball.
You did. And
you can only say that for so long before he just becomes a fantasy stud. Again, with multi-position eligibility, that guy is he's somebody I would like to have on my roster for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely gone from underrated to at least rated at this point. I think he's been his top player at least twice, I think maybe even 3 times. Mm-hmm. And the versatility there too. I mean, just
he has guys that are clicking, and again, it'd be a perfect storm, but at 5 and 7, he's right in the, like you said, in the mix. Lamb keeps it up, Zimmerman keeps it up, Ramirez keeps it up, and Grandal has the capabilities. We've seen it before, especially later in the season. Bruce has been better as a Met than he was in Red. It's possible. Long shot, but it's possible.
This is what's interesting, right? So obviously a lot of my thinking has been around what impact do I have and what impact do I not have, right? This is obviously very important for me. If I was winning, I would think it was all my impact, right? So maybe this is just a loser's look at it. But one of the things that you see is when we get to the last third of the season, and owners have decided that their team is out of it. And Joe, you kept talking last week. You couldn't understand with 7 games left after the current week why people would throw in the towel. And one of the things is that the diligence that you use in the first third and especially in the second third still needs to be there in the third of the season, right? And in this case, if Chris thinks his team's out of it, then he may not make an extra move. He does check on the injured players and he stays on top of his team there. I give him credit on that. But it's just about, you know what, I'm on to other things. If he does continue to maybe pick up a different pitching staff or trade for a pitching staff, or if he just lets it play out.
Is that just a characteristic of Chris? Just kind of
he
giving
would
up
just
on
let it play out. Yeah. Generally, yes.
Maybe, but there have been seasons in the past where I probably did the same thing, where I kind of took a look at it and said, you know what, I'll put a competitive team out there, but I'm not going to spend another $20 or $30 to maybe eke out and get into 5th place as opposed to 6th place.
No matter how bad my team is, I still try and put together the best lineup just to keep the integrity of the game. But
yeah, no, I'm not saying you're not doing that. I'm saying that
he does that for sure. Yeah. He like I said, he stays on top of it shit better than I stay on top of mine. He won't come back even with a couple of wins, maybe. But he won't come back and start sacrificing again youth to get back in it. In this year's scenario, not it'd have to be a couple of impressive wins in a row.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not paying attention. I think everybody in this league really does pay attention. My point is that it does cost money. It does cost. You need to expend on talent. There's a number of things that you would have to do. So when you think about what impact, could he have having some really talented fantasy players, if he thinks the team's not going to win, sometimes it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So let's move over to the Funkin' Punks. So the Funkin' Punks visited Lethal Injection. And this was a close game. This was a really close game. The Funkin' Punks visited Lethal Injection and actually ended up losing 43.6 to Lethal Injection, who put up 44.25. Again, I think we're pretty clear on Mikey and Lethal Injection making the playoffs. However, this was an interesting a game because of how close it was and, the Punks' record and their ability to maybe get back in with a win. So now on the Punks, the ageless wonder Ian Kinsler put up an 8 at second base for LJ and his Funkin' Punks. Kinsler went 7 for 27, batted .259 with 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 5 ribbies, 5 runs, 3 stolen bases, and 6 walks. Sal Perez put up a solid 3.8 from the catcher position, and the Blue Jays fell back to earth. That's 6 points overall. For Lethal Injection, Chris Davis, the outfielder for the Oakland Athletics, put up a 5.6. That was his top score, folks. 10 for 29, so he batted .344. He had 3 doubles, a home run, 4 ribbies, 3 runs, a stolen base, and 3 walks. Brian McCann put up 2 points at the catcher positions, and the Indians back in a dominant position at 11.85 points for Mikey. And quite frankly, that's one of the big reasons that he was able to walk away with a win in this game. Nobody really blew up for Mikey this week. He wasted some points last week, but this week you look across his scores are all about average. And then you have that Indian staff, and boy, pitching is so important in this league.
Yeah, he definitely depended on the staff this week. But you're going to get those weeks. He got lucky. In fact, it looks like LJ lost a guy. Lost a guy here that is injured, Valencia, who did not play today, and I think Granderson got a 2+ on his bench. So while Mikey still has Carpenter playing and could add to his score, LJ could have made a replacement and actually been in the lead right now. So you're going to get those games where you don't score the most, but you still eke out a win, or you're on the other side of it. And again, too many of those games in a season makes a season one way or the other.
Mikey's team has been interesting to watch because there are some weeks where it seems like he's as up and down with his scoring as anybody. I'm never sure what I'm going to see out of it from week to week. Tim, you're exactly right. With the Indian staff, you got to feel pretty good.
Okay, let's move over to Reardon Metal and the Dreamers. This was a nice interdivision game here. Reardon Medal went to the Dreamers and won convincingly. Put up 47.7 points against the Dreamers, 43.1 points. And Joe, Andrew McCutcheon. It's too bad that Greg can't be on the call to talk about McCutch. Put up 6.6 points for your top player. That's pretty strong. He went 8 for 20, so I guess batting 400. Pretty excellent there when you really take a look at it. And he did that by hitting 2 home runs, 7 ribbies, 6 runs, 6 walks. It was a solid week for McCutch. Posey put up right in the middle, average 3.6 week, which was great. That helped you out. And the Nationals, either the Nationals put up 13 or they put up 7. It seems 7.7 points. Didn't matter. You still got the W in an all-important game. On the other side, the Dreamers, Yasiel Puig put up 5.2. He wasn't at bat a lot. He went 5 for 15 for a 333 batting average. But boy, he did on those 15 at bats. He hit a double, 2 home runs, 4 ribbies, 4 runs, and then he added in 6 bases on ball. Gary Sanchez put up a solid 4.8 for them. Diamondbacks again, another double digit points at 10.3, but again, all in a losing effort. So Joe, once again, man, establishing dominance in your division. Well done.
Yeah, it was a nice payback game. I'd like to point out that Posey was not even the best catcher on my team this week. That was Contreras on the bench with a 4. So really able to count on Correa in particular. McCutcheon, it's nice that McCutcheon's scoring again. Picking up smoke helped me quite a bit. I finally got him into a game, and he had a good score. But Correa is consistently right around 6 every week, it seems like. And I think he's been the anchor so far. Moustakas, interestingly enough, had must be his worst week.
About fucking time.
I'm not going to let 1 week tell me that he's done performing. I saw something the other day that in the last 162 games, he has 40 home runs and 112 RBIs. That's a pretty significant sample size. So he's changed something about his approach. They were pointing out that he's hitting the ball to all fields anymore. Nobody's shifting on him at this point because he's not a dead pull hitter anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he hasn't really lost any power. In fact, if anything, he's found some more.
Nice.
Okay, on to the Jack's Wax Packs and 47 Ronin. Jack's Wax Packs put up the top score of the week at 58.65, taking down 47 Ronin, who put up 54.2. Paul Goldschmidt, the Arizona Diamondback first baseman, did his part, put up 7.2, batting .416. He went 10 for 24. That's a hell of a way to do it. So he put up he had a double, 2 home runs, 8 ribbies, 8 runs, and 3 walks. Wellington Castillo put up a 2.2, and the Dodgers laid it down at 13.45 points. They went undefeated this week. For 47 Ronin, Bellinger, first baseman, put up a 10.2. He batted .370, 10 for 27 in the losing effort. He had 3 doubles, 5 home runs, 12 ribbies, 7 runs. Even put in a stolen base and had 2 walks. Lucroy matched Castillo on the other side of the diamond at a 2.2, and the Astros put up a 10.2 on those points. This one hurt. This was I just needed a win, and it did not get it. I don't think there was any question that Jack was going to win the division, but this one actually knocked me down, even in the wild card standing. So smarted and was challenging. So you got to be feeling good, Jack.
I think a week ago, if I remember correctly, in fact, we did this on Monday where you were destroying me. I think I had conceded the game at that point.
It was actually on Tuesday, and if you listen closely, I actually remind everybody it's only Tuesday.
This is true. So yeah, I do apologize for that. Slowly they came back. I think I took the corner right around the weekend and was able to pull away at the end. A couple of good calls. I put Batista in. I had Desmond in there, and they ended up being a difference of 4.5. Honestly, it would have made it a lot closer. Goldschmidt has been phenomenal. I believe he's the best player in the league. Got him in a trade a few years back, and it's been just wonderful. Those national infielders, man, Murphy and Turner consistently giving me points. The Dodgers were great. I knew I was getting 2 out of Kershaw this week. Again, you scored 54 points. I scored more, and I'm happy. I'm confident. Obviously, I'm going into the playoffs now. They're working on the first every Griffey Division banner, championship banner. So I got the guys in the back working on that one. Yeah, I'm excited. It's now I just hope everybody stays healthy. They can all just kind of sit for the next few weeks, as far as I'm concerned. And again, it's a long season. Shit can happen. Take Goldschmidt out of the lineup. Pull Goldschmidt and Murphy out of that lineup, and do I have somebody to replace them? Yes. Am I going to lose points? Yes. We'll see. I'm confident, but always.
It's actually at the point now where you should actually want your injuries to come now, right? You've got the playoff, right?
At this point, they might as well, right?
Take a tough injury, a 4 or 6 week injury, right? Take it now before you get into the playoffs, right? Because then it's a whole new season.
This is true.
That's just a brutal way to lose a game, though. When you score 54 points, you have the second highest score in the league.
I've done it 3 times.
You just
this season.
happen to be playing the wrong team.
3 times. Yep. 3 times so far, I've lost to the top score, and of my 5 wins, 4 of those 5 wins, I was the top scorer. So, jeez. But you know what? The record is what it is, and
understood.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else that can be done. That's what it is.
I mean, it's just painful, and you reminded me. I had totally forgotten how fast you got to 23 or 24 points, because I remember giving you a hard time last week about quit complaining because you had just scored 65 and you're already at 23 or 24, whatever it was, and everybody kind of laughing about it. And I would have never thought you were going to lose that. You didn't.
I mean, I guess the only thing I can stand on is I was fucking right. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. Look, I mean, it was a 10-point swing over 2 days. So I was up by 8, and I was then down by, actually, it was a 12-point swing. I was down by 6 in a 48-hour period. So,
you've said all along this season that you feel like this team is star-crossed. So I guess you know better than we do about it.
I still had hope. I think coming off the high point output, I was worried that maybe all the points come at once with this team, whether it's unexplainable or not. I mean, the wild card now looks far. I'm 2 games behind Omission Commission. It's not even the division now. I've got to, in 7 games, I've got to make up 2 games against at least one team and maybe multiple teams. I actually have a decision to make. Do I try to make this team better for next year? But I'm struggling right now because I take a look at this and I say, what the fuck could I change? Like, what do I do?
The schedule.
It's not like your team isn't scoring points.
I said, I broke it down a little bit. There's a few of you guys looking for what appears to be one last spot. Whether Reardon ends up winning the division or not. Obviously, this will be their 8th win in a row.
Well, that's what I kind of look at, right? You guys are both on win streaks. I don't know if there means anything. Like, there's no such thing as a win streak. Like, it's just chance, right?
Right.
And just maybe. And then, you guys, I think the second third of the season is the toughest. Sorry to talk over you, Jack, but the second third of the season is toughest, right? Because that's when teams that are winning tend to invest in their team, and teams that are losing tend to either be cautious or make moves that aren't as aggressive. So if you have your win streak kind of at the end of the first third into the second third, then it's okay, because the teams that you're playing after that, maybe in a different universe, would have went to go out and grab more built a team that could grab more points against you when your team was starting to slow down. The other thing is I have not had a significant injury on my team. Every other team that is ahead of me has had some sort of injury. So I'm also, you talk about streaks, right? If you told me that I'd be sitting here in week 12 with no injuries and I will have added Robinson Cano and we knew what Bellinger was doing, I had Bellinger, there's no way I thought I'd be sitting where I'm sitting. But I am. So it's probably a good time to run through the division. So if we take a look at the Griffey division, Jack's Wax Packs 9-3, 47 Ronin in second place at 5-7. There is a mathematical chance I could overtake you, but sometimes math is just math. And
we'll get into that in the next segment.
Okay, great. The Funk and Punks at 4-8 and Mr. Blonde's Hero at 4-8. I pretty much believe this is how the division standings will end. I could be wrong. Probably crazy for me to say that, but I really do believe that. The McGuire division, Reardon Metal at 9-3. Omission Commission still hanging around. And like you said, Joe, big game this week if Omission Commission can win. Quite frankly, I'm actually going for you in this game and hoping you can extend that streak to one more week. But again, that probably doesn't do well for you because if that's what I want, it's probably not going to fucking happen. The Dreamers at 6-6. I just think these guys don't know what the hell's going on. And if there's anyone that could make a move to lose, I think it's the Dreamers. I love you guys. I just don't know that you know what your team is. The Bonds division, Lethal Injection 8-4. We get a chance to talk to Mikey a little later on, which I'm pretty excited about. Having him back for the second time. St. Locash at 5-7. I guess everybody thinks it's not so much for Chris there, but he's got the same record as I do, so maybe he's in for a run. And then Bad Street at 3-9. Is pretty much cooked. I don't even think there's a mathematical way for him to do that. So there you go. Those are the standings. Why don't we go ahead and take a break? We'll come back. And Jack has done some work. He's done some good work on the playoff picture. So we'll let him drop some knowledge on us. So see you in a little bit. Welcome back, Balkers. We have a great guest, is a great friend of the podcast and Balker himself. It's Mikey Breen. Mikey, welcome back to the podcast.
What's going on? Thank you.
It's perfect timing. So Jack put pencil to paper like he likes to do, and he did some work on the playoff picture. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Jack and let you take it away, bud.
All right. So what's up, Mikey? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
So, Mikey, I am much like yourself, in a very comfortable position in the division. Okay. You are a few games up, and I'm now 4 games up. But Tim is one of those teams, so it feels like I'm 2 games up, but I'm 4. So, So you and I are probably going to the fucking playoffs. So again, weird as shit has happened. Things have changed dramatically in past seasons, but at this point, I'm pretty much ready to punch our ticket. I did a little digging into the schedules for the other teams that are trying to get those last couple spots. And Joe, your schedule is not your toughest games are really right now. These two, the Dreamers and Commission back to back. You slap these two down, and you're in a really good spot moving forward. You got a few guaranteed wins.
I'm not listening.
Right, Chris is one of those teams, and he would have beat a lot of us this week. But I expect Joe. I expect you to go 4-3, worst case 5-2, and finish somewhere around 13-6, 14-5. So that's gonna take that division obviously as well. And so that's spot 3. So that's gonna leave one more spot, the wild card spot. And at the moment, If we finish today, Omission would have that spot with a 7-5 record. The Dreamers are 6-6, and then Tim and Chris are 5-7. Chris won this week, and again has a team that could win in future weeks. But I don't really expect him to be in the chase. Tim, again, we've talked about your team. You were the second highest score this week. You would have beat anyone else. Again, that's happened to you a few times. I think you've lost 3 games with scores of 48 or more. Normally, you wouldn't really be talking too much about a 5-7 team, but you do definitely belong in the conversation. And I'll explain why. Omission is in the driver's seat at the moment, 7-5. They play Reardon this week, which is an expected loss. Joe's team is better. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but if you were picking, you would have to go with Joe. From there, their schedule gets a little nasty. They have Tim. You play Omission in 2 weeks, followed by the Dreamers. They do play each other twice. Then he comes to me after that. And then he gets a little let down with Blondie, but then plays Mike and then finishes with the Dreamers. I mean, he has one ground ball game for the rest of the season.
That is brutal.
Scott's in the driver's seat, but he's not my pick for wild card. The Dreamers are 6-6, so they're right in between the two of you right now. He is playing Mike this coming week, so I expect a loss for him. So that puts him at 6-7. He does go to LJ after that, so bring him back to 500. And then, again, they play each other twice, the Dreamers and Omission. So I gave them each a win. So I got the Dreamers at 8-7 going into St. Locash, coming out at 9-7. Then they play you. So, again, you're going to have the opportunity for each of these two teams. I expect them to lose that game at 9-8, but then they do have Greg, which puts them at 10 wins. And then I have them losing to Omission at the end there. So I have them finishing 10-9, which generally gets you in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 5-7. You have 3 games against those ground ball teams, in my opinion. So again, everybody got a win for those games. So that puts you at 8-7. The 4 games left at that point is Omission and the Dreamers, which we talked about, and Joe and Mikey, the other 2 gentlemen that you're looking at right now. So if you can take these 2 guys out that are trying to get your playoff spot, that'll put you at 10-7. And Mikey and Joe, if you beat one of them, you get the wild card spot. Really, if you lose to both of them, you still get the wild card spot at this point at 10-9 with more points than the Dreamers. The spot would be yours. So.
Is that the tiebreaker? Is that because the record is it record or points first?
It's record first, which
right.
would be tied,
right.
And then it goes directly to points.
Got it.
Because that has always been what we agree as the true indicator of the better team.
Oh wow, yeah. I have 570 right now. They have 538 and 526 respectively.
Correct.
So you're saying that even having the same record, if it was a 3-way tie, that's still advantage me.
That is correct. That is correct. And like I said, Scott, right? Scotty would be the team that other than yours that I like the most out of. But that guy's got he's played his weaker opponents already. He's got a tough record or tough schedule coming up. That will absolutely come into play. So the guy that is 2 games ahead of you has quite a bit more difficulty in the schedule coming up. So,
God damn, I want another shot at you, Jax Wax. I really do, man. Like, I just want another shot, man. I want another shot. Give me another shot. Come on, man.
Look at the breakdown. Scott is the team that's done the best, scores relative to scores to Tim. And he's still got a losing record to Tim at 6-5 in the breakdown.
And my only concern is, have I just had enough bad luck that it doesn't really even matter? If I have good luck down the road, I mean, there's so many things that have to break my way. It'd be remarkable just to get into the tournament. I want to get in the tournament this year, big time, for a number of reasons. But I don't see it. I just don't see how.
The one factor that is going against you, we brought up Mikey, how Tim's obviously we're talking about it right now, has had a lot of bad luck. He's lost multiple games with the second or third highest score, but he did bring up a very valid point. He's also had some good luck in that he hasn't really had any major injuries. So the fact that he's losing games that he should be winning does not come into play when you consider the fact that, sooner or later you generally end up with an injury or two. And if that happens to him at this point, then yes, then it's a whole different ball game in the right scenario. You got a couple of guys that could back up guys that go down, but there's certain guys.
Yeah, no, I've worked hard to build the bench over the previous 2 weeks, because I knew I haven't had that season-ended injury or the 6-week injury or 8-week injury that, Joe with Trout has been able to weather, magnificently. So I haven't had that. So a lot of my moves over the last, 20 days have been to give myself depth at the corners, at middle infield, and outfield. And I have that. I do have that to a point. One of the things I can't get around is that my players' hot streaks and cold streaks are happening all in sync, and that's a challenge. So I fixed the pitching part, but now it's like, I'm trying to weave in a few different players to see if I can get different ups and downs at the same time. I called the right one by putting Stanton in instead of Blackmon. I squeezed out a few more points there. I picked up Cano. Cano's been cold in the first half of the season, so I want to see if he picks it up in the second half as the weather warms up here in the Northwest. So there's some thought behind what I'm doing. And I'm actually, when I look back and say, geez, I've made some good calls. I've done the right things a manager should do. But boy, even if I look at points against, there are other players that have had more points against, and it's not outrageous what I've had. Mikey's had the best luck on points against, and so that might turn a bit. But when you get in the last third of the season, I don't think those previous 2/3 really make much of a difference, because I think there are coaches. Mikey, do you remember those seasons where you just knew that you were out of it? Right. And
streaks don't end halfway through, man. It's unfortunately that every time I've had a season like you're having, it's always stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
It always keeps happening. You keep playing the same players on their good weeks, and certain players always beat you that aren't supposed to beat you, and that's enough to take you out of the playoffs. Because I remember there was one year I didn't make the playoffs. I was third in points. It happens.
It does happen, but again, it's just, this is more of a abnormality than even the normal abnormality. You have scored 48.7, 65, and 54.2 in the last 3 weeks. That is dominating in this league. You just happen to go 1 and 2 in those games.
Damn, you lost with the 65 or 48.
The 48 and the 54 were both losses. Yeah. He's lost 2 at 48 plus a 54. He's like I said, it's scheduling matters, and it's part of the game. It's the fun of the game. We've talked about it before. There's other ways of doing this. We played different ways and been more sure that the better team made the playoffs and won the championship. But it is more fun to do the head-to-head. This is one of the downfalls, if you will, of it is that it's definitely not perfect, and that's what makes it fun.
Sometimes
Chris can win and you can lose. So that's one of the things we talked about with Omission, who right now is in the driver's seat, is that fourth team today if the season ended. And, they've been riding the Cardinals all season long. And, me, I tend to be impatient. I probably would have traded for somebody by week 3 or 4. But they've been just riding the Cardinals and haven't made a move with them. What do you think about that? Would you have done the same thing? Do you think there's a possibility that all of a sudden they just become better than they've been fantasy-wise?
Cardinals are always solid, in my opinion.
Do you think that they're just trying to hang on to what they've got in the minors, and instead of giving up a player that they really like to upgrade their pitching staff? So maybe it's just a conservative strategy, and they feel like they're going to be back in that position, if not better, next year.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, they have, like I said, a lot of young talent. They have guys that, that they expected big things out of. I'm sure, or that are doing it even quicker than they expected. Again, Judge was, somebody that was sought after, but nobody expected him to be in the position that he is right now. Not this quick, anyway. Nobody expected Justin or Turner to be batting nearly 400 at this point. So, it is a different style. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, to compare them to me is unfair because I'm very impatient. But in general, right now, you're in the driver's seat. You have that playoff spot, and you see that most of the other playoff teams, their staff is scoring 3 or 4 more points than you on a regular basis. But
see, I guess the side I'm looking at with this is, okay, let's say they make a move for a pitching staff. Have they gained enough to compete with either you or Tim on a week-to-week basis? Are they gaining enough points that it's going to matter?
Well, at this point, they can't because their staff sucks. If they improve take that 50 and add 4 points to it, add 3 points to it, and all of a sudden, yes, now they're right there with Tim. I like I said, I look at his schedule, I look at his situation, and I think it's going to be the downfall for him. I don't expect him. I expect him to be in the third best out of these 3 teams we're talking about by the time it's over, and right now they're in the driver's seat. So
he's in a tough spot too. He can't really handle an injury. If he has 1 or 2 players go down, he does not have the bench, in my opinion, that can make it happen. If he does trade, he's going to have to trade a young player. People aren't going to be trading for Frazier or Scope or Calhoun, Owings, Joseph, Bandy. I mean, so his bench, and then if you go down, maybe Greg Bird, maybe he moves Devers for a pitching staff, but I don't think he will. And I talked to him last night, and he's feeling good, man. He's feeling like his team is in a good position, which it is.
It is, yeah.
But isn't it true that he doesn't even care if he makes he wants to, but he's not even expecting to make the playoffs this year, right? He's just still building, trying to get younger.
He actually is starting to taste. He's had a couple of wins now, so he is feeling a little more confident, Mikey. So, if you, as you've been listening to the podcast and you kind of remember listening to him, he was building for the future. But,
right.
With a few beers in him and a steak off the barbecue, no, he's talking shit, man. He's talking shit.
And a 3-game winning streak.
3-game winning
absolutely.
streak. So he's feeling good. He's feeling like he can take down, anyone in the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's got a chance to prove that this week. Going into this game, like I said, Joe's on an 8-game streak. Omissions on a 3-game streak.
Yeah.
And is a big one.
I'm absolutely paying attention. Although Joe should be nervous because I want Joe to win.
Ironically enough, I'm an omission commission fan for the remainder of the season. I would be happy to see them. Just matter of fact, I don't care who else makes it as long as it's not you, big guy.
You've got the Midas touch. So basically keep wishing, right? And that's what'll happen. I mean,
so how about this division thing? How about this?
Maybe I should wish for you to get your wishes.
There you go.
Right? So, Jack, I really hope that everything you want comes true. And let me just throw that your way. Right? No, I do. Like, I really do. Like, if it can't be me, I hope it's you, and I hope you get all the wishes.
Oh, now you're trying to make it sound genuine, too.
Well, isn't that how curses work? Like, it can't sound like fucking dickish, right, Mikey? I mean, come on.
I think you can, actually, with a curse if you're...
Well, fuck you. I hope you get all your wishes.
Yep.
I think I had a better team and more points at this point last year than now.
Yeah.
I'm just getting lucky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just getting lucky. I don't feel confident at 7-4. I don't feel like I'm any close to any one of the better teams. I'm just hoping that maybe when the playoffs start, a couple players get hot. That's all it takes.
Yep, you have definitely benefited from the reconstruction of the divisions. It just so happened the way it fell out, but yes, you have you're in the better situation.
Because the reconstruction of the divisions, did that change how the schedule went? Is the schedule different now since we realigned the divisions? Because
everybody plays.
I would still be 7-4.
Everybody plays everybody the same amount of times except the last game. There's one extra game, and in that
and I don't
game,
see how that. I would still be in the playoffs. I would still be in the playoffs at 7-4. I was thinking that what was going to happen was that the division, the guy who won our division would be barely over 500. Like I'm not saying myself. I didn't think that I would have there would be a good team.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right, you're not just beating up the other two teams in your division. You're doing better than most of the other teams. Period.
But I'm not ever scoring 50 points.
Right, and you do seem to fluctuate a little bit. Your team, though, you work. We were talking about consistency at the beginning, and now it seems like you're kind of back and forth just a little bit.
What this is about is the realignment does two things. As Jack said, the last game of the year in the Griffey division, the Griffey division plays inside the Griffey division. So the assumption is that the previous teams, or the four best teams from the previous year, would have to play each other the last game of the year, and that there's some consequence to that. The other part is that, which is not, probably not going to be the case this year. The other thing is that for the Griffey division, you basically have a 25% chance of getting to the playoffs, whereas in the Bonds and the McGuire division, you have a 33.3% chance.
I see that.
So you have a greater chance, regardless of anything else. You only have to beat two other teams as opposed to beating three other teams, given all the games that are played. The other part of this,
what I'm saying is, if there was no divisions, the same people that are making the playoffs now would still be
correct.
That is correct.
Which is what I didn't think would happen. I thought that two people in the Griffey division would be better than the winner of the Bonds division. Is basically what I'm saying.
Tim would just be further down in the one
by record. No, that's not true. I think there's a number of arguments I could say that is the case, but
exactly. But if you didn't change the schedule by doing this, then like I said, it doesn't matter. It's just I'm having good luck this year, and you're not having good luck this year. But if we went head to head in the playoffs, I'd rather have your team.
Yeah.
right now.
I do appreciate that.
Right,
Mikey, people have been telling me that for fucking weeks, right? Like it's just it's hard to kind of friggin' just wrap your head around it.
Your outfield should be giving you 15 to 20 every week, and they never put it together all together except 1 week.
Yeah, it's funny because I've spent the last couple of weeks thinking a lot about luck, and I know this is again because I'm thinking about luck because why don't I have it? Where? But the idea is that luck is a really strange thing, and luck plays a big role in baseball, like overall in baseball. And I don't know that I ever really appreciated it until this year because, frankly, I've been blessed. I've had great luck in a lot of ways. I mean, I had the 1 year that Pujols beat me the first game, and I didn't make the playoffs because of one game. So that felt bad. But that was like a bookend. It wasn't like every goddamn week being reminded about how you can fucking lose in a game that you really don't have a whole hell of a lot of control over. Other than you set the lineup and you go about your business. It's such a strange thing, randomness.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in something else about the division thing before we wrap that part of it up. Because the one thing that I took from it when we were talking about making that change, is what it really does is it makes sure two teams that did not make the playoffs the previous year will get a playoff spot.
That is true.
As a division winner.
Correct.
And so that creates more interest for maybe the guys that don't have a team at the level that you two have. I guess all I'm saying is at the end of the day, that to me is why it's really worked well, because you're creating more interest.
Correct.
Guys that maybe wouldn't have cared before.
Right.
And it'll do it it'll do it again, this year. LJ and Greg do not, and maybe Tim may be in different divisions next year. So those
put that in there.
So
that's the truth.
So those guys will be in a better situation, right? And then somebody, right, in this scenario, this is where the butterfly effect takes fucking place.
Mhm.
Somebody else who didn't make the playoffs this year is going to be like, oh, cool. Well, at least I'm in a fucking, one of the shitbag divisions next year. And then they get fucking Tim in their fucking division.
Well, and okay, so
that's going to happen every year.
There's exactly.
Well,
there's more than one effect too. Because
not if Tim's record mirrored his talent, his score, then me, if Tim makes the playoffs this year, then he'll be in this division again next year, just like myself. But if he, because of the bad luck he's having, even though his team is better, they're not scoring, he doesn't make the playoffs, then he's going to be in the non-playoff division, one of those two divisions next year, even though everybody knows he doesn't fucking belong there. It's just bad luck.
I like the setup. I think this is a good setup. I mean, if we went to 2 additional teams and we had 4 divisions of 4, we may have to look at a different way of doing it. I don't see that happening in the next year or two, so I think this is going to stay the way it is. But yeah, I agree with you, Jack. My team is not going to change much. I've got a lot of players in their prime or entering their prime. So if that does happen, if I was to fall to the Bonds or McGuire division or wherever the fuck we name it next year, I would expect to cause some damage. That would just be.
Yeah, I would not want to be one of the ones in there. I would like to go on record, say I expect it to stay these division names. As I'm getting my championship banner made, I would prefer to not have to remake it with a different name. I'm getting
now you're treading on dangerous ground.
Getting very comfortable in this Griffey division. I like it here. I've spent some time outside of this division. I didn't enjoy it as much. I didn't mean to refer to them as the shitbag divisions to you two. I'm sorry, Mike and Joe. I apologize for calling your divisions.
I had a shitbag season last year.
May you get all your wishes, Jack, as it relates to fantasy baseball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Once again, this is just part 1. Part 1 is the playoffs. I'm not talking any shit beyond the playoffs.
Move out all that stuff behind him. He is backpedaling fast right now.
I'm just saying, making the dance is what I'm talking shit about. Winning it all is a whole different subject. That comes later.
Okay.
Well, listen,
I'll allow it.
Gentlemen, let's take a pause, get some refreshments. We'll come back, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the Braves and what they're doing in the National League East. Pretty fun. We got a big Braves fan on the call right now, and Mikey, and maybe talk a little other baseball stuff and why the Red Sox can't beat the fucking
38.
Yeah, it's nice. Why the Red Sox can't beat the fucking Angels. All right, so let's take a quick break here, gentlemen, and we'll come back and bullshit a little. Thanks.
I can't walk the streets now to convolate my mind. I celebrated mama, she starts breaking down, stop breaking down. Lose your mind.
Okay, Balkers, let's take a look at the National League East. We have big Braves fan and Mikey on the call. Mikey, your Atlanta Braves were not supposed to be good this year, but they are definitely making some noise. Obviously, I don't think they're going to challenge Washington for the division crown, but boy, oh boy, what a good team. What a fun team to be around.
Very solid. But I think a lot of it has to do with our division not being as good as it's supposed to be, too. Like the Mets, they're not good. The Phillies, they're not good. The Nationals aren't as good as they're supposed to be. And the Marlins aren't that good. So we're right in the middle of the pack with all the other bad teams in that division. But the Nationals are going to win that division.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you there. Is this something that is getting you excited about the future of the Braves?
The fact that they're starting to call up those young pitchers is what's getting me excited. Like they called up that kid Newcomb. He hasn't won yet, but he's got 3 quality starts.
Inciarte is, we've talked about him a couple. He's one of the again, another underrated fantasy guy. He keeps popping up. The guy doesn't do anything phenomenally, but he does a bunch of things pretty well. and has put together some good numbers. And then the addition of Adams to fill that hole. He's been
That's the
been
trade of
nice.
the decade right there, man. That's the trade of the year so far. He's doing exactly what Freddie Freeman was doing. The exact same numbers.
Yeah, picked up right
Freddie
where he
Freeman
left
has
off.
15 home runs. He's got 12. It's crazy. We have 26 home runs at the first base spot.
I heard that Freeman said that he would
move Adams to the outfield.
Right. I heard that. Well, because Adams can't play the outfield. He sucks.
He played it for St. Louis.
He does, and he's bad. What I heard was Freeman.
Not worse than Schwarber. I get your point.
Well, Schwarber just got sent down. But I heard that Freeman was the one that told the team he would move to third base because the team would be better if that was the case. And I think he played maybe a handful of games at third base in the minor leagues, right, Mikey?
That I was wondering that. Someone told me that he played it in high school.
He did.
I didn't know that.
He did, and he played a few. It's a handful, maybe single digits. But the point is that your superstar player is superstar at first base, who's played all his major league career at first base, is saying, I should go to third base for the betterment of the team. How great is that?
Only because of how it's only because of how good Adams is doing. If Adams was hitting 250 with 6 home runs, Freddie Freeman would be like, "You better learn how to play outfield." So that's the truth. But if you think
but it's not something it's not something you would see Derek Jeter, for instance, do.
The 3-4-5 with Kemp and Adams and Freeman is going to be nasty. The fact that Freeman's saying he's going to do it and watching him do it is two different things.
You're the GM for Atlanta, or let's even say you're coaching, and you're filling out the lineup card. Do you put Adams in the outfield, knowing that he is going to cost you some runs in the outfield and maybe even possibly some wins, to keep Freeman at first base, rather than keep Adams at first base and put Freeman at third base?
You have to try Freeman. You can't just say you're going to play third base. You have to watch. We have to watch the next couple of weeks, see how it goes.
No, but if it works, right? Yeah, even if it doesn't work, I think you're right, Tim. I at that point, because A, Adams is not a phenomenal fielder, and B, even Nick Markakis is pretty good. I mean, the outfielders, not again, lighting anything on fire, but they're solid. Where third base is an absolute hole for Atlanta. So, like I said, it just makes more sense to, if he's willing and capable, even if he boots a few here and there, you're going to get similar out of Adams, in the outfield. So at that point, you might as well fill the hole and let Freeman kick one or two down the line here and there to get that extra bat in the lineup.
Like this year, it just seems like the Logan Morrisons, the Adams, right, the Alonsos, like all these post sleeper guys suddenly are relevant. Like, Mikey, you have any ideas? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Adams changed his whole body, though, dude.
Yeah. So he
Adams
looks
like a completely different person. He was a fat dude.
Yeah.
He ain't fat no more.
Yeah, I wish I could say that about myself. But so the idea is, so he got better, and that's why I was surprised that the Cardinals traded him. Quite frankly, I mean, they were really high on him. They were bragging on him. He was playing. They were saying good things about him, and then they traded him. And I don't even who did they get in return? It really wasn't
nobody.
Yeah,
I wonder if they were concerned about
PEDs. They didn't even get one of our
PEDs.
prospects, dude. They took a nobody.
Maybe, but you think it might be PEDs, Joe? You think it might be?
I wonder if they had a question about that.
That he was so much thinner when he came back.
Yeah, if his physique changed, that's unfortunately that's what you have to think.
Speaking of performance enhancing something, we have half this podcast is East Coast, half is West Coast. And the Dodgers obviously pay attention to them here out in the West Coast. A ridiculous team. And I know Aaron Judge is getting a lot of the pub and the looks, and it's maybe some of that East Coast bias, but and probably Rookie of the Year for the AL. But I know we talked about Bellinger last podcast, but this kid is just ridiculous. And I know the fall is going to come. I know this is not going to last forever. But holy shit, guys!
Got more home runs than singles.
That's actually, I didn't know that. That's actually that does not say a lot.
That is a fact.
He is the kid is locked in, and like I said, when they come up like this, they start hitting you. the things you don't hear that you didn't hear about Nomar Mazara, and that you don't hear is the stuff you're hearing when they talk about Bellinger. I mentioned it last week, and Greg questioned what it meant, and I think we established that there's definitely a level of intelligence that that advances throughout your baseball career, and for whatever reason, whether it's the family, just the way he's come through the system, whatever it is, they just keep saying that this kid's just got a heightened knowledge of the game for his age, for where he's at, for a kid that has played 60 games in Major League Baseball. I know, it took me a while to believe in what he's doing, and then once I started believing in it, then I just kept kind of expecting it to stop, and he just continues to the point where today I was watching the game again, with our game being close and ridiculous. Usually, if I'm up by 4 points going into the weekend, nevertheless Sunday, I'm pretty damn confident that I'm going to win that game in fantasy. Today I was up by 4 points, and all you fucking had left was this kid, and I still wouldn't fucking give in to your concession speech. Like, as long as this fucking kid still has a bat in his hand, I'm not fucking saying I won. I'm very impressed. His swing is solid, and he just continued 2 more today to put the ball out of the park.
He has a swing like Bryce Harper. He puts so much torque into his swing. It's like a corkscrew swing. It's awesome.
Right, but what fucking 21-year-old kid that fucking wasn't even supposed to be like, this kid's coming up and fucking with Major League pitching before he fucking takes him out of the park?
Dude,
like,
he swings from his ankles all the way up to his shoulders. Every part of his leg is in his swing, bro. It's all torque. It's all torque. It's pretty crazy to watch.
So are you saying it's more like Pedroia?
No, it's more like Bryce Harper. Exactly like Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has a lot of torque in his swing. It's the same thing.
We all know that's what Tim needed, was another Bryce Harper on his squad. So.
Well,
by the way, I do not like Bryce Harper as a player or a person at all. I'm just saying he has the same swing, because he looks like a tall, skinny son of a bitch, but he hits the shit out of the ball. He looks like
Sean Green. Remember Sean Green?
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect example. That's a perfect example, dude. It really is.
So now let me just unpack something you just said there. You don't like Bryce Harper as a player or as a person. So let's hit the first part of that first. How could you not like Bryce Harper as a player?
I don't know. There's certain players that I just don't like. There's certain people that I just don't like. I've just never liked him.
Oh, you mean, so this is like
is it?
Go ahead, Jack.
I hate the Nationals, bro. I'm a Braves fan.
Is it because he can't throw a batting helmet straight?
No, I think that was funny. I think that was awesome. I actually like him more because he wasn't a pussy. He charged the mound, but I just don't like him.
Can I ask you a question, Mike? Did you saw that whole thing go down, right? Can I ask you a question? Yeah. You said that you thought he wasn't a pussy. Who in that situation do you think was a pussy? Did you notice that Buster fucking Posey, in all of his fucking armor, never even fucking got out of a crouch while his fucking pitcher got barreled in on by Bryce Harper? That fucking guy.
Buster Posey didn't think that he should have hit him.
He never fucking moved. There was a fucking bench clearing brawl, and he was over there talking to the guy about popcorn.
But Mikey, isn't that part of the catcher's job? I think Jack went on a rant at one point and said, that's your fucking job. It doesn't matter whether you think the pitcher should have or shouldn't have.
Didn't he get hit by Hunter Strickland?
What? Yes.
Didn't Hunter Strickland hit him? Who the fuck is Hunter Strickland? Why would Buster Posey get into a fight because Hunter Strickland wants to hit Bryce Harper for the wrong reasons?
I think that's what Greg brought up.
I don't disagree with you.
If that was Strasburg, Posey would have been blocking.
Yeah.
100%. Scherzer, blocking. It was fucking Hunter Strickland.
I don't disagree. Man. I don't disagree. But I have never, in my life of watching baseball, ever not seen whoever was on the bump, a catcher not step up. I've never seen that.
It's not even like, it's worse than not stepping up. He made it a point to say, this your shit, dude.
So, Mikey, I got a question for you. So I watched the downloads of and see how the podcasts do. This is 15, so we've had 14 podcasts 13 of which we've actually published and shared with the public. Of those 13, the number one episode was Pseudo Scout, by far. It's almost double every other one. Number 2 was an epic collision of hair, which was when we broke down the fight of Buster Posey. And number 3 all time is Life Imitates Television, which is the one you were on. Why are you such a big draw? Are you just bringing women? Like, what? Why is the podcast, when you appear on the podcast, people listen? Like, what's up with that?
I don't know.
Come on. I want to know. What is that?
My hat.
That magnetic. Yeah, dope.
It's my hat.
Dope.
It's all his tech friends that are downloading the show to
It's
listen
all
to
my
him.
Facebook friends, man.
I'm not kidding. That's no bullshit, man. That's no bullshit. That's episode 8 has pulled better than 10, 13, 14, 12, and then some of the earlier ones when, before we really weren't known. But for some reason, the Balkers like Mikey. I don't know why.
You're our Tom Cruise, Mike. You're our Tom Cruise.
All right, I'll take it.
He
Little
probably
victories in life, man.
He probably makes Senior download it onto his phone and the computer at home and stuff too. Right?
Pops has no fucking idea. He has no idea. He told me. That was part of my trade, though, Mike. Part of my trade with him was for him to come on the podcast. I actually sacrificed.
He was waiting all weekend, dude.
I told him it was Sunday, but we hadn't connected. But I guess we're going to get him in a couple weeks, right? You're going to make sure we get him in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think he's coming in 2 weeks.
All right.
Said.
So
I'll let him know.
he's the only owner we have not had.
He will be an entertaining call.
I can't wait.
Yeah, he is the only one we haven't had.
He's the only one. We had. So obviously, the last podcast we had Eldon was text, but Eldon just didn't want to come on microphone. But at least Pops is willing to play, right?
Does Eldon sound like a girl?
He does not sound like a girl, but for some reason, he just would not do it.
Be careful! I called him a name last week before I found out what a badass he was.
Yeah, he is a badass.
Hey, Eldon, no habla inglés.
Oh shit!
So I'm curious about Bellinger and Judge. Which of those two do you think is the league going to adjust to first? In other words, who has a better chance of sustaining what he's doing?
Judge has a cooler fan club.
Oh, screw that. He's a Yankee, so I already don't like him.
There's no Aaron Judge shirts to be sold in New York right now. They're all gone. There's Bellinger shirts though.
Well, plus they get to dress up in those robes and run around with the hammer.
Yeah. Why are they dressed as English judges?
Judge. Oh,
they're actually dressed as the term
because they're New Yorkers,
barristers. Like I don't. Well, it was New Amsterdam.
It's not
right?
that hard to confuse.
It was New Amsterdam. It wasn't New England. It was New Amsterdam. So I don't even know that. But I look at that. I'm like, okay, like what fucking judge dresses like that? Oh yeah, the judges in fucking England.
Judge Judy,
right? I don't know. Honestly, all joking aside, that is a really interesting question because this whole season I thought, Judge, that this was a mirage. And then Jack pointed out, and I went back and looked, and the Judge is hitting balls out that just, should not be hit alone, let alone hit out of the ballpark. And if he's going to be hitting stuff outside the strike zone, then I don't know what you do. He plays in a tiny ballpark, and if he just puts bat to ball, shit. I mean, his
home runs go far. It doesn't matter what park he plays in.
Well, you wonder if you could frustrate him and throw everything outside of the strike zone.
What? Say that again, Joe?
I say you just wonder if you can frustrate him and throw everything outside of the strike zone, and if he gets frustrated, maybe he flails at it and starts striking out more.
Do what the Cubs did to Harper last year. Just walk him.
Yeah. If he'll take
that's interesting. I actually at this point, I want to say it's Judge, but Judge has been doing it for longer than Bellinger.
Yeah, the park isn't really going to come into play in this particular question because they're we were talking about figuring them out.
Right,
So,
right.
with bat on the ball, if I had to bet on one of them for home runs going forward, I would still probably bet on Judge just by the park, if nothing else. One of them plays in a fucking matchbox, and one of them plays in LA. So
I haven't seen Bellinger hit that many opposite field home runs.
he's a
I've seen
couple, but
I've seen Judge hit center field, right center, but it seems to me once they start pitching him off speed outside that it's not going to be home runs anymore.
Well, boys, thank you so much. This was fun. Mikey, always great having you on here. Good luck to your Braves.
Yes, sir.
Joe, next time, make sure you have a fucking record album there, will you, please? Come on, man.
I
yes,
promise.
Okay. And
I didn't realize it meant so much.
Jack, you were, although you tried to act like a dick a little bit, you were much more gracious, and I really appreciate all your kind words. Congratulations on a great win. You definitely put the best team on the field. And although I think you took umbrage to me saying you earned the win, but you certainly did put the right pieces in place to get the win. And I still want to get in the fucking playoffs and play you again. I want another shot. I want a rematch.
Come on. I'll hold a spot for you. I'm holding your
Come
spot.
on, man. Come on, man. It won't be a championship unless you win against me.
I can only hold these other guys off so long, so hurry up. Get your shit together.
Oh, man. I love you guys. Jack, really, seriously, all congratulations. You definitely, it's good. It's all good. I hope you get all your wishes, too.
Hey, Joe.
Good to see you, Mikey.
Joe,
Yeah.
Just so you know, I still pick you to win.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, that scares
Fuck
me.
you, Mikey.
Bye, brothers.
That Buster Posey move put you over the top, man.
That's what I'm hoping.
Good play.
Jack's favorite player.
Still a pussy, but I agree.
Bye, boys.
All right,
Be good, fellas.
Peace.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
The war was lost, the treaty signed. I was not caught across the line. I was not caught, though many tried. I live among you, well disguised. I had to leave my life behind. I dug some graves you'll never find. The story's told with facts and lies. I had a name, but never mind. Never mind. Never mind. The war was lost. The treaty signed. There's truth that lives and truth that dies. I don't know which, so never mind.
يا سلام على السلام يا سلام يا سلام سلام على السلام.
Your victory was so complete. Some among you thought to keep a record of our little lives. The clothes we wore, our spoons, our knives. The games of luck our soldiers played. The stones we cut, the songs we made. Our law of peace, which understands. A husband leads, a wife commands. And all of this, expressions of the sweet indifference some call love. The high indifference some call fate. But we had names more intimate. Names so deep and names so true. They're blood to me, they're dust to you. There is no need that this survive. There's truth that lives and truth that dies. Never mind. Never mind. I live the life I live blind. There's truth that lives and truth that dies. I don't know which, so never
يا سلام
mind.
على السلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام.
I could not kill the way you kill. I could not hate. I tried, I failed. You turned me in, at least you tried. You side with them whom you despise. This was your heart, this swarm of flies. This was once your mouth, this bowl of lies. You serve them well, I'm not surprised. You're of their kin, you're of their kind. Never mind, never mind. I had to leave my life behind. The story's told with facts and lies. You own the world, so never mind. Never mind, never mind. I live the life I left behind. I live it full, I live it wide. Through layers of time you can't divide. My woman's here, my children too. Their graves are safe from ghosts like you. In places deep, with roots entwined, I live the life I left behind. The war was lost, the treaty signed. I was not caught, I crossed the line. I was not caught, though many tried. I live among you, well disguised.